Keyford, have a seat. Have a seat. Good to see you. Good to have you.
Hey, thank you. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for having those boys. Give people something to talk about.
Yeah, a little bit.
Hey, they're talented young men. How do you think?
Hey, what take you so long to ask me to come on the show?
Well, we wanted to save it for a special occasion. We got the holidays coming up. This is our big show of the year, so we wanted to make it a special event.
Okay.
Got to get you in here, though.
Yeah.
What do you think's been the thing that's brought all this together with the boys? I mean, they've had a lot of success, and you've had success in the past. What do you think's brought all this together?
For my boys, I just think it's just the love of basketball. This was something that I hadn't, I never dreamed of them kind of following out my footsteps. It was just kind of, they've been around basketball. I coach high school girls, and then I went to help Coach Shavers at Southwest, and they always seem to be in the gym after school. Being a teacher, wherever I go, they're there. So just being in the gym and listening to the coaches and learn from the older players.
Take us back to your days over at UNCG. Did you play in the old Moore gym, or did you get in the Fleming gym? Where were you playing at back in the day?
You remember the Park gym?
Okay.
Old Park gym. My first year over there under Coach McAvoy, they were transitioning from Division II, or actually Division III to Division II to Division I. My first year there, they were Division II, and we played in Park Gym. One of the selling points to get us there, that first recruiting group was 6 of us, and they were saying, "Oh, we're going to be playing in the big gym." We were like, "We're playing in a small gym." Had maybe 100 people could actually get in the gym. It was a great facility for what it was, and then had the opportunity to be one of the first players to play in the Fleming gym.
That had to be a special moment too.
It really was. One of my teammates, Antonio Smith, scored the first bucket in that facility, and I was the one that gave him the pass on the break. So that's something we always talk about. But great memories over at UNCG.
UNCG's done well. Probably could have done better maybe over the years, but boy, you guys were still a very good team back in those Division III and Division II days. UNCG had some good basketball back in those days.
They did. I mean, they really had some really good players with Marvin Dawson, Greg Meyer, some of the older guys, Verdell. I forget his last name, but they did have some good players, and had a lot of success. When we came along, that transition was tough because we were independent and we had to play a lot of away games. So I remember going 3 years and having 7 home games and 21 away games.
Man.
So that was really tough. They told us that it was going to, that the transition wasn't going to be easy, but I'm going to tell you, it's nothing like experiencing it.
What brought you to UNCG? How did you end up there? I mean, it must have been a good coaching job on Coach McAvoy's part, whoever brought you in, because they were fortunate to get all you guys.
They were. I mean, I thought it was a really good class. Brought three guys from Florida. They brought a couple of guys, me obviously included, was from North Carolina. And I guess the biggest thing for me was I had an awesome weekend. My visit was great. I stayed with some of the guys who really took me in and kind of took me under their wing that weekend. I felt at home and just had I guess they used to call it spring fling.
Mm-hmm.
So we had a really good time, and I had 4 other visits. It was UNC Asheville, Eastern Kentucky, George Washington, and Hampton University. And every time I go, and my dad and mom, they were with me, and I was like, that's not it. UNCG was my first visit, and nothing seemed to compare for that weekend.
What small town out of North Carolina did you come out of? Or did you come out of big town?
Greenville, North Carolina.
Out of Greenville, man. So you're in East Carolina's backyard. Right
Actually, my high school was in the backyard, Rose High.
Wow, that's a historic school too. A lot of history down that way.
Yes.
A lot of success.
Absolutely. Great. It was a great football, baseball, and basketball program. But now, down there they have South Central now.
Yeah.
D.H. Conley is really, they came in and got a lot of the kids redistricting. Kind of, they're not so much a power now.
What about East Carolina? Did they give you any looks back in the day?
The interesting part about East Carolina, I seemed to be always on the radar, but the thing with them, they went in and got a couple of JUCO point guards, which left me outside looking in.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't have an opportunity to go there. I could have went in as a walk-on, but to me, I wanted to go somewhere and play.
Who was coaching there in East Carolina then?
Oh,
Anybody
man.
remember back in those days?
You know what? I can't remember. I remember Blue Edwards was a junior.
Oh, Blue Edwards is a big
if I was
name.
going in as a freshman.
Yeah.
So they were coming off a really good year, but then they had some years where they went down.
They didn't have as many good years as they've had bad years over the years. I mean, there was an old buddy who used to come in the ball games, Big Jim Modlin, who was there back many moons ago. Back in the days of Jim Modlin, Jim Fairley, and Jim Gregory, who all averaged double-doubles. That's in the East Carolina basketball history books. They had good days then under head coach Tom Quinn, and I guess recent years, Coach Lebo's not done a bad job there.
I think he's done a fantastic job. The facility is great, but it's a football town.
Yeah.
It's a football town. Win or lose, they're going to support the football team, and it's just one of those places I can't understand why they can't really. I think being in the conference that they're in hurts them basketball-wise.
UNCG made the NCAA playoffs a couple of times. Back in the day, I wrote these old names down: the Hartzell, Brunson, Clifton, Woolard, and that group. I mean, they've got those guys' uniforms hanging from the rafters over the old Fleming Gym. Had success then.
I'm a little upset about that. I mean, they kind of came along after we done fought all the big dogs off and kind of laid the ground. No, I'm happy for those guys. Honestly, those are guys that we hosted and actually came in.
You remember those guys?
I remember them.
Yeah.
I still stay in contact with Scott Hartzell.
He was a good one. I mean, he wasn't the kind of guard who was the quickest kid ever came out of the blocks, but the guy knew the game very well.
Yeah, he didn't pass the look test.
Yeah, exactly.
He didn't do that, but you couldn't leave him open. And they had some really. I mean, Eric Cothrell. I mean, he got every rebound. Every rebound. He was a double-double guy and only played less than half the game. So, that kind of stuff and just having some of the chemistry and Coach DeMent, he didn't get a lot of credit, but he was I wish I had played all 4 years for Coach DeMent. Really good. He's one of those coaches that were really hard on you, and I learned so much playing for him as far as preparing for games. Just incredible, intense. I just had
it's kind of a shame too, because I feel like he did a better job the first time through here than he did the second time through here. You kind of hate that, but that's the way it is.
But he had to relax a little bit. He had some health problems, so he couldn't be as intense. Because I attended some of his practices later on, and even with Hartzell and Cothrell, we used to say, "Hey, what happened? What happened to all the stuff that we used to see in practice?" But I think he had to change just because of that. But he still did a really good job, and one of the best coaches that I played for.
What about the experience at Southwest Keyford? How has that been for you? You guys have had 3 very, very good years, 3 very competitive years. I mean, it's like going on a road trip. I mean, you're traveling down a nice journey. These past 3 years have been outstanding for Southwest Keyford basketball. What's that been like for you?
Well, honestly, Andy, it's been like that for last 5 years. He had Jordan Hanner, Terrell Leach, obviously. When Terrell actually when he was a freshman, that's when things took off.
He got hurt one time, didn't he?
He got hurt his junior year.
Right? Yeah.
And that was a year I thought they could have maybe won the states. But it's been a great journey. I think it's one of those.
To me, there was so much difference in that year than when he came back his, senior year. It was like, gosh, this team, they just bonded so well together that year. It was crazy.
Absolutely. Great bunch of guys. We got to give Coach Shavers a lot of credit.
He stood the time, too, because the test that had to be kind of a trying year that one year, because those guys had a lot of different personalities, a lot of different egos on that team that one year, but the next year they all came together and said, we love this, we don't mind giving it up.
And I'm going to tell you, when you talk to him, he'll tell you, he had some tough years at the beginning, and people used to say, he's having a difficult time coaching that group, but he's doing the same thing now that he was doing 9 years ago, and people didn't think that was going to work, but we didn't have a lot of good ball players. These kids now know the game. They kind of were together in middle school and developed some chemistry, and he's done a great job. He cares for those kids, and the kids feel connected, capable, and cared for, and they'll play for him. They play hard for him.
Were you with Coach Shavers at UNCG? You guys there together?
Yes, he came in as a JUCO my sophomore year. Coach Shavers, I've been knowing him 20 plus years, and just one of my best friends, and really great guy. You won't meet a better person. And he knows basketball. He knows X's and O's. Some of the stuff you see him, run on the court is a lot of offensive schemes. But it looks a little chaotic from time to time. But he loves it. I actually worked with Coach. I helped coach him with him 6 years at Southwest, and and stopped when KJ came over. And also, we butt heads a little bit too much. But
was that because you kind of want to stay away from coaching your kids on that level? Was that part of it too?
I did.
Because you want them to be able to be their own man or own person?
Absolutely. I wanted KJ to make his own way. And obviously I don't have the passion that Coach Shaver has for coaching. I think I'm a teacher, but he's a coach. He really is.
Did you go to UNCG with that education studies background, or did you get into teaching later? What led you to the teaching profession?
Well, actually, I didn't have that background at UNCG. I graduated a bachelor's in history, a history buff. But I worked for Jefferson Pilot for a couple of years. And I was doing some volunteer work with Youth Focus, and I worked with kids during the summer, Big Brothers program, and one of the older ladies asked me, why don't you go into teaching? And I kind of hated my job at Jefferson Pilot. I didn't like going in doing the same thing every day. And I didn't have any kids, and I was married, and my wife, she backed me 100%. And she said, go back and get your teaching certification. I did that and never looked back.
And you landed at Southwest Elementary?
Yes.
What grade over there?
5th grade, math and science.
Oh, that's serious business. You're teaching serious stuff.
I love teaching. I don't like a lot of political stuff, but the teaching part, I feel that I have a lot to offer to the kids, and it just kind of something's different every day.
Yeah, never the same thing, is it?
It's special. So
now you kept KJ, and now looking at Cameron, he's at Southwest. The guys stayed at Southwest. Talk about that decision, because probably all this basketball you guys have been around, up and down these roads, all these travels, all these different teams you played with and been with. I'm sure there were times some coaches would say, "I would love to have you guys keep this team together as a unit, maybe at High Point Christian, maybe at Weston, maybe at Westchester, maybe Greensboro Day, maybe even somewhere else, maybe even for Forsyth Country Day." What made you guys decide, let's stick the course and stay with Coach Shavers at Southwest?
Well, it's tough. I mean, you do hear a lot of things. A lot of coaches want you to come in to that program. But the biggest thing for me was Coach Shaver's been with these kids. He's been on these kids when they were born. When they were born, he was coming to the hospital bringing flowers to my wife. So and he's always had these kids in the gym. We've done a lot of stuff together as a family. Just loyalty. I got the twins coming along.
Yes, sir.
Maybe they'll end up at Southwest. I'm not sure.
I always remember Kobe's name.
Kobe Keyshawn.
And Keyshawn. I got to remember Keyshawn. Something like Keyford, but it's Keyshawn. Keyshawn.
Right.
No problem. I remember Kobe's name. I always remember his
name.
But like you say, loyalty to Coach Shavers and what he's meant to your family over the years too. But had a lot to do with it, I'm sure.
It really does. I mean, he's just he's a phenomenal person, and he teaches your kids more than just basketball. He teaches them stuff off the court, how to be a young man, and if I'm not around, I know he's going to take care of them.
Now you've got you developed a pattern. You got to bring these guys along. You got KJ, then you got Cameron coming around next, and you got Kobe and Keyshawn coming. What year now? Kobe and Keyshawn, are they eighth graders?
They're eighth graders.
Over at Southwest Middle.
Yes, sir. They're and honestly, Andy, I'm one of the worst critics, and because I'm just always on those kids, but they are really special. And I mean by that, these kids, you get to a point in basketball where the skill set, athleticism, all the strength, all that kind of levels off. But these kids' will to compete is like no other.
Those two.
It's interesting. I mean, Cameron's the same way. KJ's like that too. But the twins are, they've been in big games. They won national titles. The stage doesn't get bigger for them.
I'll tell you, the first time I ran into those two guys, I was at Northeast Guilford on a Northeast Guilford Southwest Guilford game one night, and Ray Bridges' dad, Ray and Herbie's dad, was there.
Right.
I knew something about those kids was going to be something big. Was Mr. Bridges said, "Hey, come here! You're going to meet these two guys. These are the two guys of the future. This is Keyshawn and Kobe. They're going to be ready to go. They're going to be the ones that are going to run the show in the future. You got to meet these guys now." So good to meet you, fellas.
Yeah, but they're a good group of kids, but they really love to compete. They really do. So two-way players, and I think you're going to enjoy watching them play for the next 4 years.
I hope Alan Hooker has the middle school all-star game again this year, so we probably look for those guys in that game.
Maybe.
Hope so.
Maybe. Yeah. Hooker does a great job with that starting that All-Star game. I hope he does it again this year as well.
Because some of the kids we saw in that game last year, this kid Andy Pack, he's out at Northern, I think now, and you got Trey Turner. We saw Trey in that game last year, and I'm kind of impressed with Trey. I mean, the jury's still out on a lot of things you see in basketball. Trey, he looked okay in that middle school. That's a different setting, but now on that varsity middle place, he's not doing that bad. He's playing pretty good.
Hey, he fits in, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does.
I mean,
he really does.
He has I call him an old man game.
Yeah.
He doesn't do too many things too fast. He's fundamentally sound.
Pretty deliberate, yeah.
And he's playing for Coach Revis. I mean, Revis is a really good coach.
That's going to be a great game. I mean, people need to be that's almost like something you need to put on your schedule for 2015 must-do event, Northwest versus Southwest boys basketball. Just hope both teams can keep winning.
Right. Whoever thought that those two teams would be some of the top teams in the county, but
it's kind of gone that way, though.
It has. I know those kids there. Yeah. I mean, Northwest changed. I mean, the style of play that they've done, it doesn't look the same.
Reggie Davis is a better player, and people realize that kid's kind of an unknown talent. That kid's got some hops and those jumps to him.
He's been around for a while, and he's improved so much. But his motor is what makes him special, and it's contagious. Because you got him, you have Jalen Spicer, who's phenomenal.
I'd like to get a bottle of that Jalen Spicer and just put that on some of my food, man.
Very confident point guard, and Jalen Gore, who's I think is the glue.
He's an unsung hero there.
Yeah, he's the glue, and then you have Henry coming off the bench, and they have another kid that really shoots the ball well.
Another kid is that Sam Covington kid.
There you go.
You would not think that guy. What's this guy doing? Where this guy came from? Man?
Absolutely. Yeah. So it's going to be a great game, but it's going to be more of a chess type for the coaches, but I'm sure the fans will enjoy it.
Now, you look at the Livingstone selection. How did you come about? We talked to KJ about it a little bit. How did Livingstone even get into the picture here?
It's interesting because we were in the process, my wife and I was in the process of getting KJ to look at schools just to go, East Carolina, UNC Charlotte. And all of a sudden we got coaches calling and wanting him to come and take a look at their schools to come be a student athlete. And Livingstone coach Holiday called and was really upbeat and talked about KJ's skill set and said some of the things that we always thought about his game. And he knows how to develop guards. He's developed Team Cleaves. They used to go to Michigan State.
Team Cleaves, okay.
Yes, and he has a way with guards, and he's a God-fearing man. Coach Stenson, they're doing some great things at Livingstone.
Are they a competitive team down in the CIAA?
Yes, they won the CIAA last year.
Wow,
they won the CIAA last year, and they've been in the top. They've been in the finals for the last 4 years.
Not bad at all. That's a great tournament they have that too.
Great accomplishment. Yeah. One of the guards there that graduated last year was all CIAA MVP. He was All-American, Division II, academic All-American, and Mark Thomas. And they saw a lot of KJ things from Mark Thomas.
And you feel like when KJ goes there, he should have a chance to play very soon.
Absolutely, and that was one of the things they felt like that he could step right in and contribute. And right away we went to the visit. He went there about 4 times, but the first time was their homecoming, and KJ felt really at home. We met everyone from the president all the way down to the custodian, and it felt like a family. And he's not far away. And there are 2 coaches that I know that will take care of KJ when he goes there.
And that's in Salisbury, NC, right?
Yes.
Kind of a hidden commodity down there, but it sounds like they're doing quite well in basketball. It'd be fun to watch KJ go against Terrell Leach over at Winston-Salem State. That might be an interesting battle.
Absolutely. That's going to be really interesting. And he talks about that. But one of the things that, like I said, Livingstone is one. I believe is just turning the corner. They've accomplished so much for the men's program, and KJ is going to be a part of that. I didn't have an opportunity to play in the CIAA. I was recruited by some CIAA schools, but back then it was kind of tough to play because my brother played for John C. Smith, and I felt like I couldn't play. I didn't think I was tough enough for whatever reason.
You didn't do bad at all at UNCG, no doubt about that. I mean, anytime you're the point guard that people can remember back when you played, that's a good thing too. Who was that point guard that came along a little bit after you played? I know he played at Division I. He got his jersey retired. You remember that guy I'm thinking of? That name kind of escaped. That's the name I got to get back in my mind there.
Then there's Derek.
Etheridge. Is it Etheridge?
Yes. Yes, it was Etheridge. What's Etheridge? He's from Boston.
Yeah, it's him. Yeah, because he was from Massachusetts.
Right,
Yeah, 'cause
right.
That guy was a pretty good point guard. He was
Courtney
There you go. That's
Courtney.
it. That's what I was trying to think of today.
Yes, that's
about
him.
you and Courtney Edwards and Scott Hartzell.
Scott Hartzell,
yeah.
Derek Nix.
What about this guy? Let's throw all these names out. We love these basketball names in the past because we can still remember.
I can't forget my buddy Yusuf Stewart.
Yeah,
I don't know if you
that.
remember
I
Yusuf.
remember that. USEF Stewart. Yeah.
Yes, there you go.
Yeah, I used to track that. For some reason, I was hooked on UNCG basketball about that
He used to play
time.
on the slab too, didn't he?
Yeah, I played outdoors a
Just
lot.
love
back
the
in the
slab.
day. Yeah, I tell you what, though, I love that. The old gym you talked about earlier was up that side
Park.
street. Up
Yes.
there. And you had I remember one year you had like a midnight madness there. It was like a Friday night. Just had a huge. The students seem to be into it more back then than they are now. Maybe you're wrong.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I mean, just we used to call UNCG Pack Up University.
Yeah.
Because on the weekend the kids go home. But
another guard too, I think was a good player. This Nathan Jameson. They forget his. He was part of that.
Nate
there.
was really good. Nate from High Point.
Yeah,
He's
exactly.
from High
That's
Point.
it, yeah.
So they had some really good basketball players, and hopefully Wes can turn it around over there.
I hope he can too. I mean, they've shown signs of it. I'm glad they got Baldwin back in the guard in the back.
Oh my goodness, we need him.
Need him in a bad way. Yeah,
Need him.
But you could tell a big difference when he got back in there. When he was out, it made a difference.
Lots of energy.
What about the AAU circuit? What are your thoughts about that? Do the kids need to be playing year-round basketball? Does that circuit mean a lot to them as far as being seen by these coaches, these college coaches?
It does. I know a lot of people are going to be mad at me, but I truly believe you get your scholarships during the summer. Because you're in the place, you go to a Myrtle Beach or Big Shots tournament, and you have hundreds of coaches in one place, and they can see you for 3 days, whereas they can't go. It's cost of
During their season, you're playing your
tough.
games. It's tough.
It's tough for them to get from place to place, but there they can see all the top players. I believe in the AAU. So I do think that the coaches from the travel ball and the high school coaches need to work together. But I think it's a great opportunity for the kids, to be seen in those exposure events.
You guys are a basketball family. You guys don't play the other sports. It's strictly basketball because I guess you feel like you guys have got a future in basketball. So if you do have a future, if the possibility is you're not sure about what sport you may be playing down the road, it might be a good idea to go ahead and focus on that sport.
Yeah, that's true, but that's something that they love to do. Honestly, Andy, if they wanted to do something else, that'll be fine with me. We'll back them 100% on that. But this is something that they enjoy. My wife, she's more of a fanatic than I am.
More basketball fanatic.
More basketball fanatic,
It's good to have that in the house.
so I, in order for me to keep my relationship with my boys, we keep everything in the gym. We leave the gym. We don't talk basketball. My wife usually gets on them about
They don't
stuff.
start hearing about what they did wrong in that game, and that's a good thing.
No,
yeah.
I leave that alone. I leave it alone.
Well, how's KJ's game gotten better since his freshman year at Southwest Keyford? How's his game gotten better?
I think he's more comfortable. He's more of a leader. I think he understands his, where he can score, how he can make his teammates better, how to become a better teammate. And to be a coach on the floor. All of those things I think is really, really important to be a point guard. You really have to be that coach on the floor. You have to be a great teammate. Your body language has to be different. If you make a mistake, kids can't see it. Your teammates can't see that because they take that and they could go down. And as far as their intensity level, or they can look at you and say, okay, he doesn't look like he's shaking, and they'll continue to play hard for you.
Those point guards got to make sure too that they're not just watching it. Sometimes they've got to take over the game. If the team needs help, they just got to take over. Like he did the second half the other night against Grimsley, he had to step his game up in that half number 2.
Absolutely. I mean, he's more comfortable out there. I mean, obviously that's because of the 3 years that he's already spent with Coach Shavers, and he understands what he wants, and he's just in that leadership role at this point.
Now, where do you see yourself, family-wise, basketball-wise? What about the next few years? The twins are coming along. They're going to stay at Southwest Guilford. They're going to play for Coach Shavers. All that's in place already.
I don't know.
What about the future of all this basketball?
I don't know about that.
You're not sure? You're not signing any paperwork, right?
I'm not sure. Honestly, I don't know. They do have opportunities to do other things.
Here's a good one. This is the man to talk basketball because he's got so many options. He's got 4 on the floor. He's got all those different gears. But what if a situation came up like the Ty Gray situation? Somebody like, I don't know if they contacted him. He contacted them, and they met at a mutual agreement somewhere along the way.
Right.
But a chance to go play for who knows?
I wouldn't be interested in sending my kid.
Or going to Florida?
No way. I think if you're that good to go to those places. I think you know, that's something to be said about playing for your community. And that's,
win the championship for the local community.
Right, right. And Ty's situation, his situation was different, and I respect his dad so much. You know, he's he trained my kids for years, and
he's a basketball man.
I trust him with my boys totally. But you know, his situation is definitely different. But it'd be hard for me to do that. Just send my kids to another state, to another county.
It's kind of like the Martin brothers. Caleb Martin, his brother at NC State now, they left out and went to Oak Hill, I think, that last year.
Right.
If that opportunity came up with the two Langley brothers, Keyshawn and Kobe.
I still think that'll be a tough situation for me, because I still like for them to be kids. Mm-hmm. You know, I really do.
I think there's something to be said here too, because you're only going to see them so long before they grow up. If they're at Oak Hill, you're not going to be able to see them every day.
It's a different lifestyle there.
Yeah.
It's nothing but basketball and whatever else they do, and you know, I just want to have them, you know, as long as I can, and for them to enjoy, you know, going to the prom, enjoy going to those, being a part of different clubs and that kind of stuff. So,
who have you learned the most basketball from? Maybe a coach or over the years. Who have you learned the most from over the years?
Honestly, my dad. My dad taught me. You know, he's been with us. My brother and I. We come from a basketball family, and my dad. I don't know if you know, but he's paraplegic. He had a car accident when I was 2 years old, so I never seen my dad walk. But he could drive. He had hand controls, and he always took care of my brother, my mom, and dad. My mom worked. My dad took care of us, and never missed a game. High school, middle school game, and even at UNCG, he was at every home game for 4 years.
Wow, man, that's amazing.
You know, I learned a lot from him. I learned a lot of courage. He was my inspiration. Because you know that's one of the things I had a hard time. You know, when I look at kids play and you know they fall down, they have a little injury. I can't understand why come they can't play through it. Where I played with broke foot, you know, cracked ribs, broken finger, and this was all, you know, going through the flu and that kind of stuff. And you know, my inspiration was my dad. You know, look at him, like if he can do all the things he's doing and he's paralyzed, never complain. You know, why come I can't just go play the game?
He's still with us, right?
He's still with us. That's my man.
He can see you on YouTube tomorrow, because we got this on the audio. We're taping this for YouTube. This will be on YouTube tomorrow.
That's my guy. I love him so much, and my brother too. You know, he's my older brother. He's only 2 years older, but he's somebody that I kind of looked up to growing up. My older brother, and you know, just kind of watching him and how he go about you know, school work and how he did things on the basketball court. There's just so many people that played a part and a role in who I am today and developed me for you know, for playing at UNCG.
Greensboro's been good to you.
Greensboro's been great. I love Greensboro. I mean, this is obviously it has some problems like other places, but you know, I feel at home here. You know, Greenville was home, but when I left Greenville, this became my home.
It's a pretty good split in your life. Greenville and Greensboro have been your life.
Yes,
sir.
Yes. So,
well, Keyford, excellent job.
Thank you.
You can tell you're a teacher, because you've handled all this exceptionally well. Keep up the good work.
Appreciate it.
Keep working with those young men. We love what they're doing.
Absolutely, and you know, invite me back from time to time.
We're going to have you back, guaranteed. We're going to get you and Reggie Perkins in the same night.
Yeah, that's my guy.
Is that right?
Yeah. I mean, I learned a lot about the father-son relationship on the court with Reggie.
That's one reason I want to have you tonight, because the father-son relationship and how this is important.
Because I love his older son, little Reg.
Oh, he's a good one.
I thought he was always that guy. He's very skilled, great size.
I'm glad he was able to keep playing, because I don't think he actually reached that complete maturity level in high school. I think it came later.
Oh, yeah, it did.
Yeah.
Bodies, everything just changed. Great family, though.
Send Coach Shavers in.
Okay, gotcha. Thanks again.
Keep up the good work.
All right, I'm going to get something to eat now.
You got it.
How much can I get over here? No, stop.
Turn it loose.